Sam Goodman, really fucking scary stories. What do we got going on in the background here today? Running the spirit box. Oh yeah, get some preseason action going on here with the spirit box running in the background. Let me see if I can get this thing to turn off so we can actually do like a podcast. That might be helpful today. Welcome back to Really Fucking Scary Stories. Today we have a little bit of preseason action, and I'm just going to dump like a few preseason podcasts all at once. You know what's going on. Season 4 starts January 3rd, bringing you 13 fresh, new, really fucking scary stories. Before we jump into today's website, if you have a story, if you have an experience with the creepy, the crawly, the macabre, if you've had a brush with true crime, if you've seen a ghost, I don't know, send me an email, rfsspod@gmail.com. That's rfsspod@gmail.com. Make sure you go follow along on all those kind of social media, internety kind of things. And if you've got just a second and you want to show us some love, show us some support, if you like it, you love it, hell, if you hate it, I don't know, scroll on down, leave us some stars, leave us a review. It helps us an absolute ton. On today's episode, we're going to be talking about something that it's the stuff of fucking nightmares, right? This is the stuff that when you're laying there trying to sleep at night, this is like the weird thoughts that like crawl into your head, like that keep you up at night. And we're going to talk about a few stories of people who woke up after being pronounced dead. So first off, big buckets full of N-O-P-E, big dumpsters full of fucking nope. Just nope. Like, it's the thing where like you hear those stories, like we've all kind of heard like the lore behind that, and we've kind of seen all like the creepy, crawly, macabre stuff from like way back when, like kind of pre-embalming kind of stuff, to where it's like, you know, nails like caught in like the lids of coffins where people have like been buried alive and they're like trying to claw their way out. Or we've seen like the weird wacky devices that like the bells, you know, that you know just a little bell on the surface of where you're buried, so just in case you wake up after being, you know, dead, you can ring the bell and hopefully somebody will hear it and hopefully someone will come dig you up. You know, I don't know if you're like that really lazy like caretaker at a cemetery and you just hear like the little like ding 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 in the background and you're like, I'm not digging that shit up. No, I'm going to have my sandwich and that'll stop in a little bit. But what we're talking about today is kind of more modern examples of these situations where people have woken up. They've not been dead. Something has happened. They have been assumed to be dead, but not so much. To start, the grandma who returned from the dead and prepared lunch. So nobody, you know, your grandma's recently died and like you're in the middle of like this shock, especially, I don't know, maybe you're not so close with your grandma, who knows, none of my business, but let's just assume that you're really close with your grandma, you're super sad, like she's kicked the bucket, she's popped the old clogs, you know, popped her clogs as they say, and you just kind of walk into the kitchen and there she is. She's just hanging out, making a sandwich. Something right out of like one of those cheesy books, like those cheesy kind of thriller books. But this happened to a Chinese family after their 94-year-old grandma climbed out of her unsealed coffin 6 days after she had been found dead in her bedroom. It suffered what was thought to be a fatal head injury, and plans were quickly made for her funeral, including holding an in-home wake for close friends and family. But her coffin had not yet been sealed, and it gave her the opportunity to escape after waking from what doctors described as an artificial death. Artificial death sounds like one of those terms that a doctor makes up to not get sued to death. It's because it sounds like a whole bucket full of I don't know, negligence to me, but I don't know. But everything was ready. She was in the coffin. She was laid out. She was there. Things were ready for the funeral. But the day before the funeral, friends and relatives arrived at her house to find an empty coffin and the dead granny gone. So they're like frantically searching. Like, where's our dead grandma? Did someone like body snatch grandma, and no luck. That is until someone, I guess, wanted a snack. They made their way into the kitchen and they found a very much not dead grandma sitting on a stool in her kitchen cooking. And she has reportedly told villagers after this that I slept for a long time. After waking up, I felt hungry, so I wanted to cook something to eat. So there you go. Zombie grandma. I don't know. That's kind of zombie-ish, little zombie granny action. I would be a little standoffish with grandma waking up from the dead. I've seen too many horror movies to think that that's probably just a normal thing. Maybe some tests? I don't know. On to our next story. A sex worker in Zimbabwe died, air quotes, died, during a hotel romp with a client. Little, session, I don't know, that stuff. They were fucking. They were having sex in the hotel room, and she died. However that happened, I don't know. But she ultimately died, only to come back to life as her body was being put into a coffin. So she reportedly collapsed during this sex session at a hotel in Zimbabwe. Convinced that she was dead, her shocked client called the police, who sent paramedics to collect the body. But as they were loading the corpse into a metal coffin, she suddenly woke up screaming. And she leapt from the casket yelling, "You want to kill me? You want to kill me? You want to kill me." Sounds like not so much fun. But ultimately, she was just kind of like, okay, we don't want to kill you. You're alive. And she was released to a friend who took her home. Good, fun times. On to the next one. There is something about grandmothers and liking to wake up from the dead. So this grandmother, she had been brought back from the dead twice and has even survived spending 3 days in a morgue. A 61-year-old Russian woman who has been declared dead twice by doctors, but each time she has come back to life and once was only minutes away from being cut open for her autopsy. This granny spent 3 days laying in a freezing cold morgue while her family mourned. So she has scared the shit out of doctors, friends, and families much more than once, as I have already kind of mentioned here. The initial confusion began when she was taken to a regional hospital where she spent days just because she felt just generally unwell. And during this time, she ultimately, you can air quotes here, died. So her family was informed. They began planning their mother's funeral, breaking the bad news to her family and her friends, buying flowers, a casket, arranging for a grave to be dug, all like the stuff that you do. But ultimately, when the family went to the hospital to collect their mother's body, they were just told that to wait, and the doctors had not performed an autopsy. So the doctor was pretty startled when, he went to do the autopsy and found out that she was breathing and alive. No. Like, could you just... No. Back to the whole dumpsters full of nope. Just like laying there and just kind of like... Ow. Like, what the... Like, kind of waking up, and then you, like, look up, and you've got, like, that, like, really big industrial, like, medical light, and then you see the whole, like, doctor garb, and then, like, a knife coming at your, like, chest area. No. The other times were not quite as intense or extreme as those, but this woman had a long history of heart problems, and her other apparent deaths had occurred during hospital stays, and she was revived. One of those, she was technically dead for several hours, but then brought back. I need to look at this, because hopefully this lady is like still out there, like 165 years old, just like dying and coming back. Like how, yeah, that would be the kicker to this story. That would be awesome. And last but not least, in this really, really quick, short season 4, pre-season 4 episode, remember, starting that first week in January, season 4 kicks off with 13 brand new stories, all containing really, really fucking scary stories. This is just a taste, just a little touch before we kick off into the new season. But on to the final, last story of really scary shit that can happen to you after you die, but you're not really dead. The man who woke up screaming for help in a morgue fridge after having an asthma attack. A South African man woke to find himself in a morgue fridge nearly a day after his family thought he had died. The man awoke 21 hours after his family called in an undertaker who sent him to the morgue after an asthma attack. He was sent to the morgue after this asthma attack. The morgue owner said that he sent a driver to collect the body shortly after the family had reported the death, but a day after staff put the body into a locked refrigerated compartment, aka morgue freezer, morgue workers heard someone shouting for help. They thought what most of us would probably think if you spend much time around a morgue. Holy fuck, it's a ghost, right? They're like, ghost. I mean, that's logical, right? You're in a morgue, lots of dead folks. Someone starts screaming for help, where most things are dead or supposed to be dead. You would automatically assume a ghost. The morgue owner said that he was also scared shitless, but had to be strong for his employees, and ultimately, did what you're supposed to do probably in these situations and called the police. After the police arrived, they entered the morgue together. They apparently had their firearms out, the whole thing, in case there was something that wanted to fight with them, but ultimately found this man not dead in a morgue freezer, super pale, probably clinging to life, and they ultimately pulled him out. He was taken to a nearby hospital for observation and later discharged by doctors who deemed him stable, like he survived this whole thing. So just nope. No, like all of this is just nope. And there's lots of these stories. Like if you just go Google this stuff, you will find lots of these stories. And to be completely honest with you, I just picked like a few at random. I'm sure there are ones that are much gnarlier than this, but that's it. That's the taste. That's the touch. Remember, season 4 starts first week of January with 13 new episodes of really fucking scary stories. If you need something to do in the meantime, just scroll on back. Go back and listen to the first 3 seasons. Tons and tons of fun and creepy and crawly and macabre and death. And, well, I guess that's what you define as fun. But it's there. Go listen to it. And if you need something else to do, leave us a review. Go check us out on social media. Go follow along with the other podcast, the Hop Nerd Podcast, at the YouTube channels. You can find me on YouTube. All those kind of sort of things. That's it. I hope you enjoyed this pre-season episode of really fucking scary stories. Have you had a really fucking scary experience? Have you seen a ghost? Have you been on a macabre adventure? Would you like to share it on air? Would you like for us to tell that story? Or you just have something horrid that you would like for us to talk about? Send us an email at rfsspod. That's rfsspod at gmail.com. Make sure that you subscribe. New episodes come out every single Friday. We look forward to continuing this creepy, crawly, morbid, macabre, and grotesque adventure with you, the listener. We love you, and we will see you soon. Thank you for joining us today on our trip into the dark. We hope that you join us again next week for all things horror, all things macabre, all things grotesque, here on Really Fucking Scary Stories.